Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Okay, so welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you had a fabulous Christmas. I'm rounding up the year with a few reviews. Before I step into doing a video, two different videos, one on my favourite films of the year and one on most disappointing films of the year for me. Maybe a little bit controversial, so you might want to stick around with the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for when those videos drop in the new year. I'm not doing it now because there are still a couple of films that I need to catch up on from this year that I want to include in them lists, possibly. Or they may be left out if they're just middle of the ground. Anyway, so last night I thought I'd sit down, I'd watch the new Resident Evil movie, Welcome to Raccoon City, which came out not too long ago. It's the reboot of the franchise, and give you my thoughts on it. Now, Resident Evil was a franchise prior. I don't mind the films. I know they're garbage. I know they're trash, but I like Milla Jovovich. And the films are they're a guilty pleasure, so to speak. Some more so than others, but I can watch them. I can enjoy them, but I know ultimately that what I'm watching is rubbish. But there you go. But I like rubbish at times. Anyway, so this new film, it is rated 15, runs for 1 hour and 47 minutes, and is directed by and written by Johannes Roberts. He's not really done anything to talk about. The two 47 meters down movies, 47 meters, or is 47 meters below, 47 meters down, the shark ones, and the sequel, which was called Uncaged, which I didn't mind. I quite like shark films, and they were okay. So this film had a budget of $25 million and went on to gross $32 million at the worldwide box office. So not very good. The film stars Kaya Scodelario as Claire Redfield, Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hooper stars as Wesker, Donald Logue, who was recently been in Gotham, as Chief Irons, Neil McDonough as Will Birkin. Hannah John Kamen plays Jill Valentine. Now, these are names that I know, Redfield, Wesker, Valentine. I kind of know the names. Now, Resident Evil as a game series isn't something I've played. In the early days, I played it a couple of times. I know what it's about. I remember the aesthetics for it and the gameplay and this sort of a thing, but I'm not big on the character. Well, I'm not big on the characters at all. I don't know the characters. I don't know the game series as it progressed or anything like this. So essentially, I'm reviewing this as a film, not as an adaptation of a game. The other Resident Evil films, I know that they diverge from the games rather drastically and this sort of a thing, but you know, I'm none the wiser. So anyway, so this film is set in Raccoon City, obviously. It's set in 1988 for some obscure reason. I'm guessing that's sort of around the time when the games came out, and it does at times shove it down your throat that it's set in 1988 with some of the gadgets, with someone playing Snake on their phone, with comments on, you know, there's stuff that comments on it being around that era, you know, kind of forcing it. There's exposition within the film that is just stands out as being exposition. The film, like I said, it's set in Raccoon City at a point where the Umbrella Corporation are deserting the city, and the city is pretty much deserted. There's not many people left, only those that can't afford to leave the city, which are all infected, and you've got like the police department and this sort of and that's who it's primarily based around. You have to start off at the beginning. You begin with a flashback of Claire Redfield and Chris Redfield as youngsters in an orphanage, and sort of mysterious goings on and this sort of thing. Then it jumps forward to 1988, and Claire's making her way back into town, and as the film progresses you find out that she'd left the town and how she left, and what happened to her brother, who's become one of the police officers, this sort of thing, right? So now the film then sort of diverges into two paths. You have the stuff at the mansion going on while you have this siege at the police station that then goes back into the orphanage and then joins up in the mansion with the other people in the mansion. Now, the aesthetics of the stuff in the mansion is where I get the feel for the game, of the stuff that I recall from the game, and yeah, you know, and stuff happens. Now, the film, like I said, it runs for 1 hour and 47 minutes. I'll be honest, the pacing of the film isn't bad. It isn't slow and it isn't boring. However, the characters within the film are. They are boring. By the end of the film, I didn't really care who lived, who died, you know. The main two standout characters for me were Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine. Now, Hannah John Kamen, she's been in the TV series Killjoys, and she played Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp. These are all TV actors. These are all, you know, Neil McDonough, he's been in films, but more recently he has been in part of the DC TV series, Legends of Tomorrow and things like that. Robbie Amell is from Legends of Tomorrow. Hannah John Kamen, she's from Killjoys. Donald Logue, you know, although he has been in film, he's not someone who headlines films, and he had recently done Gotham for 5 years. You know, these are all people that come from a TV background. Tom Hooper as Wesker, he's in the Umbrella Academy. You know, so these are not movie actors, these are TV actors, and the film does, in a sense, feel like a TV pilot, possibly. You know, it's very low budget. The writing isn't particularly good. Like I said, the characters are not great. The special effects are awful at times. They're pretty damn bad. You know, CGI looks like CGI. Yeah, it's not very good. Like I said, interestingly for me, you know, the two female leads are the two that I sort of latched towards. They were the strongest characters in the film. Hannah John Kamen, like I said, Ghost from Ant-Man and Wasp. She seems like the most natural actress within the film, the most enjoyable to watch, and the one who doesn't feel like she is acting. She feels as though she's, you know, there, present in the film as this character, as opposed to I'm acting this character. Now, I was thinking about why I was drawn to these two female characters over the males, other than badly written. And I don't know if it's kind of like I've been subconsciously subjected to a female lead within a Resident Evil movie. I don't know how it goes in the games, but because of the previous 6 Resident Evil films, and I do like Milla Jovovich, I don't know whether that's carried over from that film series, and thusly I latched on to female protagonists within this movie. But yeah, so ultimately, this is a bad film. It's not particularly good. It's low budget. It's not particularly well written. It's not particularly well directed. There's camera angles that, you know, wouldn't be amiss from 20 years ago. Stuff that, you know, and camera stuff that's done that just seems outdated. Stuff that isn't, you know, tricks and that aren't used anymore within film. So it's not competently directed either in that respect. So yeah, it's not a great film at all. It didn't bore. The time passed easily enough, but ultimately you come away with just like, okay. I think this is more made for the game people playing the game. There's probably a lot of nods to the game series within it that I wouldn't get, and characters and this sort of thing. So for me, it was just a film, and not as good as the others. I mean, like I said, the others are trash and some of them are pretty bad, but you know, they feel more competently directed and flashier. This is very darkly lit, and at some points the darkness is so much so I didn't know what I was actually seeing. I was questioning, what am I actually looking at? Primarily at the beginning in the opening scenes. Maybe it was meant to be that way. I don't know. But anyway, so that was my review for this. Watch it at your peril. But anyway, so this is AJ. Thanks for watching. And remember, please hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care all and goodbye.